What's up, YouTube? We're gonna change all the fuel lines to AN fuel lines on my Datsun. So we see these steel braided lines on race cars all the time, but what are they? Well, this is an AN line, and it's referring to the type of fitting it uses. And this steel braided line is a high quality hose surrounded by all this steel. The cool thing about these is you can run ethanol on them, you can run gasoline, you can do a lot of things with these things. All right, here's how some of the fuel lines are routed. I mean, these lines are okay, but they're just a little scary, kind of close to there. I'm gonna reroute it all the way back here. It's gonna look real nice when we're done.
All right, let's go to the Toys R Us for car enthusiasts. I'm going into Summit, checking out some of the fuel lines, and of course, buying a lot.
Here are all the AN fittings and steel braided lines. And of course, these things are not cheap. It's costing me around 500 bucks for all of these. All right, guys, we're gonna start off by dropping the tank. So we're gonna get under here and drop those 2 bolts. It won't be that hard.
All right, so the tank never needed to be dropped, and I'll show that later in the video, but it does give you a good visual representation of what it looks like and what we need to remove. So we're just gonna remove the return hose and the pressure hose.
So I'm dumb and I realized I didn't have to drop the tank. So I just adapted one of the AN fittings right here, and then I got the wrong side, so I have to buy another one for this. So that'll probably be tomorrow. But I can remove this line. Let's go underneath.
All right, now we're gonna go underneath the car again. We're gonna remove all these hoses that go to the fuel pump, and I already upgraded the fuel pump. This is a Walbro 255 fuel pump. I'm just removing all these fittings that have like a barb in the end, and I'm gonna replace them with these AN fittings. And then now I can adapt lines to them.
All right, I brought the fuel hose all the way up here from underneath the car. And the other one's right there. Here's the first fuel hose, and then we ran it all the way through the bottom. You can't really see it. Right there. Right there. Put this real quick. I ran it all the way to the front where it's gonna be. That's the return line, and we marked where we want it, and we're gonna cut it. We're gonna cut this bad boy right there. All right, I marked this one, so now I can just pull it out, and then I'm gonna cut it. So I'm gonna go underneath and pull both of them out.
All right, so this is how you cut one of these lines. I just put electrical tape around it, put it on a vice grip, and carefully cut it with this cutting wheel.
Let me show you how to install one of these fittings. All right, so this is a 6 AN fitting. This is for fuel. And if only you guys could smell me right now. I smell like gas. I reek of gas. So we're gonna take it apart. All right, this is the fitting taken apart. We're gonna put this on the steel hose, then push this down and tighten it. When it's in there, it kind of spreads the hose out and making it a really good seal. All right, here's the hose. It's a little frayed out, so let's see if I can fit this in there. And let's see. Once you finally got it in there, you gotta twist it until you get to the bottom. You can't really see it, but the bottom, or the bottom of it is basically about right here. You can see it in person. All right, so once it's flush, you just spray some. You wanna spray some lubricant, and then we're gonna put this bad boy in there. And after a while, I'm gonna put on the vise and tighten it all the way till it touches here, but don't over tighten it.
Alright, so now that everything I just explained, we're going to do a time lapse on it and get some fittings on. Now this is for the return hose, and it's probably the longest hose in the whole system for me.
And when you're done, we got an AN line. Now let's go put it in the car. It's tight.
So now we finished from the fuel pressure regulator to the tank. Now let's do from the fuel rail to the fuel pressure regulator. So we're just doing the same thing, removing the old hoses and attaching this new line that we just created. But of course we needed this little fitting in there first, so I'm just tightening that. Now we create the line, and once it's done, we're gonna install it. And here's another angle, and this completes the fuel return line. Now we're gonna have to create the fuel pressure line. The reason why I did this one first is because it was the longest and least amount of cuts. For the fuel pressure side, we're gonna do basically the exact same thing, except one line to the fuel pump and one line to the fuel rail. But in between, we're gonna make this little section with a fuel filter. And we're just fastening that right now. And I'm gonna show you guys the finished product because it's basically the same thing.
Okay, now that we're done, we got all the AN lines in. We're gonna go underneath. We're gonna make sure they don't leak. And if they don't leak, I'm gonna fasten them on. Okay, we got that right there. And then the two connections up there, and that's it. If they don't leak, we're gonna fasten them on. And then we should be good. Here's the other two. I kind of cut some of the steel wool, or the steel braided around. I cut some of the steel braiding around, and it's just a regular flexible hose underneath because this one was the correct size. It was a 3/8. That's what the 6AN uses, and then this one converts it to 6AN. So we didn't need that on this side, but yeah, we're gonna check these two, see if they leak, and then all those underneath.
I know that sounds a little ghetto, but I was trying to save some money. You know, I really don't need another AN fitting right there if it's just gonna be clamped down with the hose. I made sure nothing leaked, and it works perfectly like this. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you want to see more content like this. Thank you so much.